Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Let's start the Young Farmers Roundtable. So, hi, everyone. It is a great pleasure to greet you all. My name is Anna Korzemski. I am the coordinator of the family farming team in the partnerships division of FAO. I'm super happy to be here. It is the last day of a fantastic forum that we had here, the Global Forum of Family Farming, with an incredible participation, wonderful interaction, super rich content, and a very good mood. So to put the cherry on the top, we will give the space today to the young farmers. It has been said in the last days, it is important and it is crucial to guarantee that young farmers have their space, their voice in the organizations, but also in processes, policy processes, in order to transform the agri-food systems towards sustainable, effective, and a healthy one. Without further ado, I will introduce later more the content, but I am very pleased and really thankful for Kazuki Kitaoka to be here with us. Kazuki is not only the global coordinator of this forum, but the motor and the heart. So, Kazuki, you have the floor.
No, thanks. Thank you very much. And no, I'm not the motor and the heart. I'm just one facilitator, and the motor and the heart is obviously the entire team, and all of the passion and the ideas, the esprit that is coming from all of you, from participants, from volunteers, from those who really care about the future of our food. So thank you. And it's raining today, which means that the plants are getting a lot of water, which is great. So the water dialogue brought a little bit of water to us. It's a real pleasure today to be here at this very important Young Farmers Roundtable 2024. And thank you to the organizers, and thank you to having invited me for this, highlighting the crucial role of young farmers in the transformation that we really need to see in agri-food systems. Before I begin to talk about what really moves me about this roundtable, let me first thank the family farming division that has been really instrumental in putting all of this together. We didn't even know how to create this midterm review of the decade on family farming, let alone this type of family farming forum in view of the space capacities. And it has been the family farming division with the kind support from bilateral financial contributions that made it possible that we could build a model farm for specifically this event and for these activities. And we hope, of course, that we were able to host you well in this environment, that you had a conducive environment for your discussions, your considerations, and your deliberations. As you know, perhaps the World Food Forum Global Youth Forum is not just an event, and it started in 2021, and since 2021 young farmers have been invited to roundtables on an annual basis to talk about farmers' concerns, to talk about potential solutions that are led by farmers for farmers, in particular young farmers and their concerns. And it's a great pleasure to see at least one, but if I think almost all of your faces are very familiar. And you were in the closing last year, I think. You had to rush off to the airplane last year, but still you brought your messages to the closing ceremony. So I'm very glad to see you again. I hope you are not rushing today, that there's time to really. So great to see you again. This movement is really about empowerment. That is the core of why we created the the Global Youth Forum. It's about empowerment of youth, it's about engagement of youth, it's about the empowerment and engagement of young farmers in finding the solutions, in discussing the solutions, but also in implementing and realizing those solutions for the future of our agri-food systems and the future of the food that we eat on a daily basis. Of course, it is also not only about dialogue and policies, it is very much about solutions and partnerships that can create these new realities. And it is about finding practical and doable, pragmatic solutions that are encouraged through intergenerational collaboration and initiatives. And I'm sure and I'm hopeful that a lot of these have been forged throughout this week, as you have been working in a very intergenerational setting here at the Family Farmers Forum. So throughout the United Nations Decade on Family Farming, we have really an exceptional opportunity here. And this is an exceptional opportunity for young farmers in particular. I think this is a really great starting point as well for moving the agenda forward. And I'm sure that my good friend Guillermo is going to talk much more about that. But by equipping young farmers with the necessary tools, knowledge, resources, but also above all, networks and platforms for exchange, we can hopefully help you to overcome any kind of challenges that you may have and ensure generational renewal in the field of agriculture on the way forward. And I really hope that in 5 years' time, when the decade officially comes to an end, we will see a big renewal and that we will be able to look back at a successful decade for family farming and in particular for young farmers. Engaging and empowering young people, of course, overall is essential, and we must work together to create a world where we all have access to healthy, nutritious food produced within the planetary boundaries. By investing in youth today, we are investing in the future of our planet, and that is very much the message that is being discussed, not in this entire forum. And I think at the core of these discussions, when we are looking at the Youth Assembly, what is going on there, in every single regional roundtable of the Youth Assembly, the farming community, young farmers in particular, are very much at the core of considerations. And this is why the more I'm happy to see that the Young Farmers Roundtable is here, is striving, and I hope you will find really interesting ideas on the way forward. So I invite you to stay engaged and active and bold and perhaps provocative, but always pragmatic in the sense of solution-oriented in this movement that we started in 2021. This is a movement of young people. That is a youth movement of young movers, young leaders, and those who really want to see change in the agri-food systems and have a better food future and a better life for the future generations, their kids, on the way forward. So helping to amplify your voices, helping to amplify youth voices, supporting you and all the young people here is a critical role that we see also on the way forward for this transformative activity. And with this in mind, thank you again for this amazing 4 days of the Family Farming Forum, and thank you to the Family Farming Division as well for making this possible, and thank you for being and staying engaged in the Young Farmers Roundtable. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for shaping the agenda.
Thank you very much again, Kazuki. So we are here today at the third Young Farmers Roundtable. In general, the Young Farmers Roundtable, as you know, is a platform that aims to facilitate exchange, intergenerational and intragenerational exchange, to bring forward the implementation of the Pillar 2 of the Global Action Plan of this decade. You must be all really familiar already with the Pillar 2, so we are not going to enter in that one. But let me quickly walk through the history, how we arrived today. The first Young Farmers Roundtable took place in 2021, where we have had a tour of the world, and we had an incredible rich exchange of experiences about practical and policy knowledge. So young farmers showed with their presentations that indeed young farmers want to stay in agriculture and they are motivated to become farmers. In 2023, last year, we continued this exchange. We focused more on policies, what are examples and successful experiences of policy participation. And beside the exchange, this Young Farmer Roundtable last year resulted the establishment of a Young Farmer Working Group. Many of this working group, many members are here today, not only those who are here with me in the stage, but also in the audience. So this Young Farmers Working Group decided to start to develop a toolkit for the support of young farmers and for the support of the generational turnover in family farming. And indeed, today, at the third Young Farmers Roundtable, we are here to present you what this toolkit will be. This toolkit is not ready. This toolkit is now at its stage where we have a very solid outline. This outline has been created in the last year. We had the opportunity in April to meet and work on this outline. Please go on the website, on this site, and if you want, you can also download this outline because it is going to be the core of our discussion. We are going to present you different parts. No, my colleagues and friends here will present the specific parts, and after we are keen to collect your feedback, your inputs and ideas for the further development. Again, so it's not ready, we are working on it, and we count on you to further develop it. One interesting aspect, or a wonderful aspect, is that this toolkit is being created in collaboration of all the farmer organizations, farmer movements who are leading the UN Decade of Family Farming. So it's not an effort of one single farmers platform, but the World Farmer Organizations, the World Rural Forum, La Via Campesina, and the International Planning Committee for Food Sovereignty are working all together to develop this toolkit. So it's an unprecedented example, and thanks for the young farmers to show that indeed collaboration between farmers can have wonderful fruits. Before entering into the objectives of this toolkit, and then passing the floor to my friends, let me thank to Mauro Conti and Carlotta Ebreo for their work, because without them, this toolkit wouldn't be here. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's see, what is this toolkit, no? This toolkit wants to be a practical tool, something very practical that really supports young farmers and enhances their participation in their organizations and in public policy processes. So there are different parts. One will focus on enhancing policy influence of the young farmers, no? Other ones will examine public policy. So for this part, we will examine public policies, legal frameworks, and different actions which are helping young farmers to be really agents of change. Beside public policy, dimension, there is also the willingness of young farmers to exchange about concrete knowledge. So it also aims to enhance exchanges related to agroecology, production issues, market access, etc. And for that, we are also willing to offer this toolkit that can facilitate these exchanges. The idea is here not to have an online PDF, let's say like that, a document, but to have a very rich and dynamic tool. So for that, the format of this toolkit is going to be very diverse and rich, including fact sheets, mapping tools, podcasts, and of course, some data analysis. Beyond, I stopped talking because my colleagues know much better than me what we are going to do. So I am really happy to have you all here. I want to emphasize that we have 3 women and 1 man on the stage, and I think with this division we won the gender balance of all panels of the Global Forum. So I'm really happy and welcome you all. So my colleagues will introduce one segment of this toolkit by bringing their own experiences. So Herbert Mauji. Herbert is a farmer in Uganda and a member of the World Farmers Organizations. Can you please share with us your experiences and an excellent example on youth participation in organizations? Over to you.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Mawije Herbert. I'm part of the delegate of the World Farm Organization, Young Farmers. I come from Uganda, and I'll start by saying I'm a farmer myself. I grow soybean, bananas, and coffee. Before we go to the toolkit, I think I'll give you a bit of background why it's important. Agriculture to us is not just a profession. It's a lifestyle, a legacy that is passed down to us through generations, through our forefathers. It's heritage. It's a way how we contribute to the contribution of the food systems, first within our communities where we come from, but also ensure the rural development. Farm generation turnover is one of the ways how we can tackle most of the challenges that young people are facing to actively involve into the into the food system transformation. Because when we talk about why young people are not directly involved into the food system transformation, what excludes them? We talk about access to land, we talk about access to finance, we talk about access to markets. And this is what exactly generation turnover provides. When you inherit or take over or pass over the farm to the young person, they get access first to land, which is quite a very big challenge. And that comes with knowledge that comes from your foreparents. And also that comes with access to markets where he has been selling his products. But these are very important aspects, but it's not as easy as we talk about that it happens often. It also has its challenges where we need to say one of the aspects of the toolkit is strengthening farm organization to be in position to support the young farmers to take over the farms. And I'll give you a personal experience. My great-grandfather, 4 generations before me, had 1 square mile of land. He had 15 children. He had 15 children in his lifetime. Because in my culture, it's only the men that own land. The ladies don't get to own land. So only 10 had access to the properties he had. In my generation now, where my father is in his 4th generation, now me coming to the 5th generation, you only have 10 hectares. So once a legacy of a farm that used to serve potatoes has been diminished to 10 hectares, even my father is not a farmer anymore, however much he grew up from a family farm. So the legacy that was created by my father has been tarnished, by my great-grandfather is no more. Where do I get support as a young farmer who wants to get back the repetition? And that is why this toolkit is important. It offers support to the young farmers that, of course, you want to regain the legacy of your fathers, you want to regain the culture that was created, but you must get support that is not actually there. And that is why the aspect of building capacities of the young farm organization to support the young farmers within their specific context is very important. And these aspects we talk about communication because it's one of the challenges you'll face in family farming. It's not just that your father will pass over the farm. I mean, in my context, I have to convince my 7 other members within the family that, of course, they have right over this piece of land or the farm, but I would want to take it so that we don't subdivide it. If we are to ensure that we have food security and food transformation, and we have generation transfers, we cannot afford not to build capacity of these young farmers that are taking over the land. I mean, if we talk about capacity, we talk about enabling them to communicate better to their forefathers. And this is very funny, but in my country, you don't talk about generation transfer because it means you are willing your father to die. The only way it happens is after if he passes on. And we want to change the narrative because it does not have to happen like that. These are some of the discussions we have, but to break the mindset that even the girl child can get to own a farm are some of the mindsets and the stereotypes we have to break. It's not easy, but I'm very happy that within this toolkit, we can be in position to customize and also suggest this kind of capacity building trainings that we have to offer to the farmers. As I come to the end of what we have, or talking about capacity building, it's very important that within capacity building, we propose involvement of young people in policy decision-making processes. I don't know how many times, because it's many aspects are involved when we talk about generation farming. We talk about land laws, because it's where we start from. In Uganda, we have about 5 of them. And most of the land owners, like my father, doesn't even have security to his land. He's passing over to me something that he even doesn't own. How do I get the energy to innovate and invest into a land where I don't even secure that I have the land? But through capacity building and through taking them through the different land forms, we can get to train them that this is how you get onto the decision-making table and challenge a status quo or even propose what is better for you. We talk about finances. How can I take over the farm and I have to buy over my other siblings when the interest rate is 36% of the loan I'm going to get? So we need to change the mindset and also capacity build the young farm organization to be in position to challenge some of these financial reforms or be in position to advocate for better financial reforms. And cultural barriers is a mindset that we have to take to sit now with not even the government, but the cultural leaders and communities that, you know what, even the young ladies, the young girls can be in position to take over these family farms. So the discussion about capacity building is something that is very core within this. And I'll end by saying, in the world today, family farms are reducing. Actually, general farms are reducing. It was about 660 million, but we are projecting by 21,000 we'll be at around 270 million farms. I don't know how we are going to feed the next generation if we do not think about how best we can sustain our farms, but by the most easiest way of having farms being transferred from one generation to another. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Herbert. Very, very great points. And let me just pick one that indeed, if we want to give space for young farmers and enhance the generational turnover, both generations have to agree on that. No, it's not only those who want to come in, but those who are farming now need to give space and need to work with the young farmers, the young generation, in order to make their entrance into agriculture successful. We know that young people in agri-food systems or young farmers in agriculture, the discussion about that is not new. No, this is something that has been discussed since years, not only here in the Young Farmers Roundtable, but also in different platforms. And indeed, these discussions and negotiations have resulted various international tools and international frameworks which we can use to support this generational turnover. Paola, please help us. Paola Laini from La Via Campesina from Italy. Please help us showing which are those international frameworks which are relevant for us, relevant for young farmers, and which we would like to examine in this toolkit. Over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. We put a lot of effort in building this space, so I hope we can make best use of it. Yes, as it was said already, I'm part of La Via Campesina, which is the biggest movement of peasants and farm workers. And I'm a member of the Italian Rural Association, which is member of La Via Campesina in Italy. I'm a young farm worker. So at the moment, I'm working seasonally in the field of vegetable production and with goats. In these minutes that I have, I would like to look at one of the objectives of the toolkit. I would say one of the three main objectives of the toolkit, which is the need to use the toolkit for young people to get to develop ownership over public policies, which we already have to support family farmers, as well as public policy processes, no? So the spaces of participations that family farmers organization and social movements have been struggling to build over time, so that we really need to defend. And it was also mentioned at the beginning of this roundtable, no, that we have a lot of that we need solutions. I would say that we already have a lot of solutions, but we need public policies to enable these solutions and to make them actually transform our food systems towards more justice. The hat that I would like to put is on a process which I think it's very connected to what we're doing now. It's a process that happened within the Committee on World Food Security, CFS. 2 years ago, there was that ended 2 years ago. There was a specific policy process on youth and generational renewal. And I mention it because the CFS, you know, I was talking about public policy spaces. The CFS so far is one of the most inclusive spaces of participation that we have at the international level, where we, as young farmers, can have direct negotiations with our governments in an international space. So the process that happened there is very valuable, yet not visibilized yet, not used yet, because the outcome of that process was a series of guidelines which were published in 2022 on youth engagement and employment in agriculture and food systems, which now, you know, the biggest challenge is now to implement these guidelines at the national level, so to transform them into national political frameworks and policies for us to enter the farming sector. And at the basis of these guidelines is also an extremely valuable work, which is the work that the scientific basis of the CFS is, which is the high-level panel of experts, which published a document to visibilize the main obstacles that we face as young people that wants to enter food system, but also the key ingredients that we need to overcome these challenges. And among them, for sure, is the need of have more intergenerational exchange. So that's one of the focus of our toolkit. But also the need to redistribute, no? And the word redistribution is very important because it's oh wow. Right moment. to redistribute resources in terms of like farming resources, but also redistribute responsibilities, political responsibilities, and redistribute power within our system. And the report puts emphasis on 4 pillars for youth engagement within food system, which are rights, equity, empowerment, and recognition. So I wanted to start with this because I think these are 2 important documents, the HLP scientific evidence on youth engagement and the outcoming CFS policy recommendation to orient us in the realm of public policies especially for young family farmers. In the toolkit at the moment, so we have an outline of this toolkit, and in the chapter on international policy frameworks, we have identified let's say the cornerstones, starting from the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Peasants and Other People Working in Rural Areas, which is the only legal tool that we have to protect the rights of small-scale food producers and rural workers and indigenous people and fisher folks and pastoralists, which again is the result of a long process of 5 years where peasants fought for having formally included their rights to land, their rights to other natural resources like water and seed, the right to participation into a document that member state ratified. So again, like I said before, the challenge now is to transform this declaration into national laws. And again, it's this moment where we are now, which is the most difficult to use public policy spaces or to make that step of implementation and translation in different contexts. And the good news is that since last year, 2023, there is a specific working group on the implementation of this declaration, which is now in the process of monitoring what is happening at the national level in terms of implementation of the Declaration on the Rights of Peasants. Another important key, or two key spaces and processes that we have in terms of rights of family farmers is the International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture, and the Convention on Biological Diversity. And I mentioned these two together because both of them are highly linked with the right to seeds. We talked about this multiple times, the importance of protecting the seed systems of family farmers, which are a very unique model of using, reproducing, and safeguarding our seeds. And in these two spaces, the Seed Treaty and the Convention on Biological Diversity, family farmers have fought hard to have specific rights and specific working groups for the safeguard on the peasants and the family farmers' rights over seeds. So these are ongoing spaces, but we have multiple states that are engaged in these processes. So they are alive, but we need to get young people closer to these spaces because they are complex. So the toolkit also has this objective of, I would also say, simplifying a little bit, making it more accessible for young people to understand these spaces and why they are important for their primary needs when it comes to producing food. And last but not least, another important international policy frameworks that comes once again from the Committee on World Food Security, are the so-called CFS guidelines on responsible land tenure and on small-scale fisheries. So similar to what I said before, these were the results of negotiations with family farmers. And inside these two tools, we have the guidelines to protect the rights of family farmers to access land at both the individual and the collective level, because the collective rights to land is also something we talk very little about, but when it comes to generational renewal is key, especially now that we are assisting to a wave of new farmers that do not necessarily come from a family farming background. But also the rights to waters when it comes to small-scale fisher folks. Of course, faced to the growing influence of big investors often, so actors that do not that they're non-agricultural, but they have an interest in investing in natural resources, and that create conflicts in terms of access and use and ownership control over these resources. So this is why it's important to talk about rights, because it's a much more stable ground on which we can fight for accessing the basic resources that we need. Last point on land that I want to give visibility to. Also, this was done yesterday. At the moment, we are in a process where we also need different countries to come together and talk about land issues, because we heard it's one of the main obstacles that we have when it comes to access farming. So we are now in the process of trying to obtain a new global conference on land and agrarian reform, because we need to change a lot of much of how current policies on land are functioning, because we heard we are losing farmers. So it means that in agricultural policies and land policies, there's something that must be changed. So we need spaces like an international land conference to discuss it together with multiple stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paola. Indeed, there are these very important international and globally relevant frameworks which are essential to refer to when it comes to public policies. They can give the overall framework of creating and formulating public policies. But as Paola said, there is that step, that very difficult step to adapt these international frameworks to a national context, to a national reality. No, there is an enormous work that has to be done to assess the national conditions, the national reality, which is related to young farmers, and use these international framework as reference to formulate specific public policies, legal instruments, which can empower young farmers, which can really give them support and space that they can realize what they want to do in agriculture. Lucia Cordero will present us one example how these international frameworks in the end arrived to Uruguay. Lucia is from Coprofam, and Coprofam is part of the World Rural Forum. But before giving you the floor, Lucia, let me acknowledge Maria Eduardo Vasconcelos' participation. Thank you very much for being here. Maria Eduarda is the coordinator of rural youth at the Ministry of Agriculture, Development and Family Farming in Brazil. We know also that Brazil has done various work and has various policies which support young farmers. Lucia, back to you.
Bien. Bueno, buenos días. Bueno, soy Lucía, soy de Uruguay. En Uruguay hago parte de Comisión Nacional de Fomento Rural, que es una organización nacional de la agricultura familiar que nuclea organizaciones de base. Comisión Nacional es parte de la COPRFAM, que es una organización regional de la agricultura familiar que nuclea organizaciones nacionales. Y la COPRFAM es parte del Foro Rural Mundial, que es la organización global. Y a nivel del sur de América, hacemos parte de la REAF con los compañeros de Brasil. Pero todo eso como para entender el panorama regional y nacional. Pero en términos de la caja de herramientas, nos parecía importante que el capítulo de políticas públicas de políticas públicas nacionales podía mostrar algunos ejemplos que se están llevando adelante. Esto que decimos de las experiencias exitosas, que tienen que ser más exitosas aún, pero para ponerlo en esos términos. Y en este caso voy a comentar sobre la política de acceso a tierra para jóvenes de la agricultura familiar que hay en Uruguay, pero sí como en tres niveles. Por un lado, la política pública en sí misma como tal. Por otro lado, cómo desde la organización, del espacio de jóvenes de la organización, hemos generado incidencia para que esa política suceda, porque también nos parece como importante compartir eso con jóvenes de otras organizaciones. Y como en tercer lugar, los espacios de diálogos nacionales y regionales que aportan a la construcción de esas políticas. Entonces trataré de ser clara para que esas tres dimensiones no se mezclen, pero bueno, después podemos conversar también si quedan dudas. Y bueno, más para aclararlo en un orden cronológico. En Uruguay, como les comentaba, esta organización de la agricultura familiar tiene un espacio que es la Comisión de Jóvenes Referentes, que es un espacio, una comisión asesora de la mesa ejecutiva. Entonces, en ese espacio de trabajo de jóvenes, una demanda repetida es el tema del acceso a la tierra. Entonces, desde ese lugar, con los compañeros y las compañeras, como por 2015 o 2016, pensamos en generar una propuesta, un documento, una propuesta de política pública para presentar al Instituto Nacional de Colonización, que es el instituto que se encarga en Uruguay de la gestión de las tierras públicas. Una política que fuese específica para el acceso a la tierra de las juventudes, porque este instituto tiene llamados de tierras fracciones y prioriza la agricultura familiar o los trabajadores rurales, pero en esa priorización siempre los jóvenes quedábamos por detrás porque teníamos menos capital, porque muchas veces no teníamos hijos o una familia establecida y eran cosas que se priorizaban. Ante la presentación de esta propuesta, se mantuvieron reuniones, en fin. Finalmente, en 2019, se aprueba un llamado de tierra para jóvenes, se llamaba, que eran llamados específicos de tierras para colectivos de jóvenes, grupos de jóvenes para acceder a las tierras públicas. Y bueno, y en ese momento fue como el primer paso que lo vimos como con buenos ojos, pero era una política muy puntual y específica. Luego se da un cambio de gobierno y esa política fue como una experiencia puntual que quedó ahí, pero para nosotros era necesario que eso tuviera una continuidad, que fuese una política que se estableciera como política de Estado más que como una experiencia puntual. Se genera un espacio de diálogo, que es la Comisión Honoraria de Juventud Rural, donde participamos de Comisión Nacional con otras organizaciones de la agricultura familiar y no familiar, jóvenes de gremiales del agro, por decirlo de alguna manera, en Uruguay. Entonces, en ese espacio nosotros presentamos nuestra propuesta y pedimos, bueno, estábamos dispuestos como a modificarla, como decimos en Uruguay, como a transar algunos puntos, pero en que todas las organizaciones pudiésemos generar una nueva propuesta para llevar al instituto. Generamos esa nueva propuesta en conjunto con todas las organizaciones del agro del Uruguay y la presentamos como jóvenes de las gremiales ante el instituto. Y se vuelve a abrir otro llamado, pero como con un nuevo directorio, y este llamado también tenía algunas particularidades que a nosotros no nos convencían. Se abrió un llamado para jóvenes entre 18 y 29 años para acceder a la tierra, nos parecía bien, pero tenía como algunos criterios de educación, de acceso a cierto nivel de educación, que nosotros entendíamos que no estaba bien ese requisito. Entonces, esa propuesta que habíamos generado como por 2016, en la organización la volvimos a retomar dijimos, bueno, con algunas cosas tenemos que ser más claros, tenemos que reformular esta propuesta. Tenemos que decir que el nivel educativo no tiene que ser un requisito para el acceso a la tierra. Muchos de los jóvenes de la agricultura familiar no acceden a la universidad, no porque no quieran, sino porque las condiciones no están dadas. Entonces, eso no puede ser un requisito. Pero además nosotros decimos algo, nosotros queremos acceder a la tierra y no que nos tiren tierra arriba. Queremos acceder a la tierra en condiciones, queremos acceder a la tierra con educación, con salud, queremos acceder a la tierra con una política interinstitucional que nos acompañe y no que nos deje abandonados en la mitad del campo, en una fracción a 100 kilómetros de la ciudad, sin casa, sin acceso a electricidad, donde ya se sabe que los procesos es muy probable que fracasen y después se dice, los jóvenes al final no tenían tantas ganas de acceder a la tierra. Y me diste la peor fracción que había. Entonces dijimos, no, esta propuesta tiene que mejorarse. Entonces se vuelve a presentar la propuesta, pero no solo a colonización, sino también al Ministerio de Ganadería, al Instituto Nacional de la Juventud, a MEVIR, que es un programa de vivienda, y lo hicimos en conjunto, y desde la organización con todas esas instituciones, y en ese momento esta política de la que les hablaba, que tenía requisitos sobre el nivel educativo, se estaba lanzando y logramos de alguna manera que esos requisitos del nivel educativo se quitaran del llamado. Y eso para nosotros fue como muy importante, porque muchos compañeros que no estaban pudiendo presentarse a esos llamados, pudieron hacerlo a través de esta nueva propuesta y de que pudimos modificar eso. Y bueno, y al día de hoy lo que les puedo comentar es que en Uruguay se aprobó un Plan Nacional de Agricultura Familiar que mantiene los ejes del diseño y dentro del eje 2, que es el de juventud, las instituciones se comprometieron a mantener esta política de tierra y además hacer un aumento gradual en términos de porcentaje de cantidad de hectáreas respecto anualmente a la cantidad de tierra que se dedica a los jóvenes en estos llamados. Entonces, ahí como traer un poco lo que nos parecía importante traer a esta caja de herramientas, como varias cosas, las políticas que son necesarias, la política como tal, la política que se construye, la necesidad de que eso se construyan como políticas de Estado y no cosas que sean como experiencias puntuales que dependan de los gobiernos de turno, y la experiencia de las organizaciones para incidir en eso. Y para nosotros en ese sentido son como muy importantes los espacios de diálogo que hay entre los gobiernos, las instituciones y las organizaciones. Este espacio que yo les comentaba a nivel nacional de la Comisión Honoraria de Juventud Rural, pero también está la Comisión de Jóvenes de la REAF, que la REAF es la reunión especializada de la agricultura familiar en el Mercosur, y eso funciona a nivel nacional, pero también a nivel regional, en conjunto entre todos los países del Mercosur ampliado. Entonces, esto que decía Paola de los marcos institucionales y cómo lo institucional llega a lo nacional, por ejemplo, nosotros en estas políticas de tierra son específicas para jóvenes de la agricultura familiar. Nosotros tenemos un registro de agricultura familiar y ese registro llega a través de las discusiones que se han mantenido en la REAF. Entonces, tenemos claro quién es el público objetivo y eso llegó a través de la política regional. Entonces, sin duda que para la construcción de estas políticas para nosotros es muy importante el espacio regional, que es un espacio de diálogo de los gobiernos y de la sociedad civil de igual manera, y donde podemos de alguna manera tomar ejemplo y también tomar fuerzas de los países de la región. Entonces, por ahí un poco la experiencia a compartir y que no quede solo en la política concreta, sino en los procesos de construcción política de los jóvenes. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Lucia. Indeed, a very important aspect that you were explaining, and Uruguay is in Uruguay, and it's a very good example how, when it comes to family farming and when it comes to the public policy development for family farming, it has to be something interinstitutional, intersectoral. It's not about only agriculture. You have to consider education. You have to consider the social aspects of the social background of these young farmers who want to enter. So it is indeed an intersectoral work that has to be done. To show you another part of this toolkit, another chapter that we would like to present in this toolkit, Melissa Gomez from Maela, Colombia, which Maila is part of the International Planning Committee for Food Sovereignty, will talk about an example, her experience of knowledge sharing. Knowledge sharing is something essential that has to happen among young farmers, but also among older and younger farmers. Over to you.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias. Bueno, muchas gracias por este espacio, por las personas que también están aquí acompañándonos. Yo primero, antes de poder entrar como en todo lo que para la agricultura familiar representa el intercambio de conocimientos, pues quisiera también un poco poner sobre la mesa, siguiendo la línea de mis compañeros y compañeras, la reflexión acerca de la importancia que tienen los jóvenes hoy en la agricultura familiar, porque hoy el intercambio generacional, que no precisa de un relevo generacional, sino de una permanencia de personas adultas y personas jóvenes en un intercambio constante de conocimientos, pues hoy también depende de la agricultura familiar, hoy depende de los jóvenes en el campo para su permanencia. Si hoy los jóvenes continúan con el proceso de migración que se viene dando, que ha sido una alerta a nivel mundial hace mucho tiempo, pues estaríamos hablando también de que la agricultura familiar pues estaría desapareciendo, ¿no? Y para ese entonces todo lo que nosotros hemos peleado, luchado para la permanencia de las comunidades, para la permanencia de la juventud en el campo, pues también habría desaparecido y estaría también dándole cabida a que la industria y la revolución verde pues haya ganado también su disputa por el territorio. Entonces un poco pongo esto sobre la mesa porque también con lo que comentaba Lucía, pues los jóvenes necesitamos el acceso a la tierra, necesitamos una reforma agraria, pero necesitamos que la tierra sea fértil, necesitamos que recibir la tierra de nuestros familiares o recibir la tierra por parte de nuestros estados, pero una tierra que nosotros podamos sostener y que nosotros hoy en la agricultura familiar pues también estamos pensando en políticas de sostenibilidad de la tierra, de sostenibilidad de la agricultura familiar, políticas también encaminadas hacia la transición agroecológica y que también nuestros países pues dejen de adoptar algunas de estas políticas que hoy no permiten la sostenibilidad de la tierra, dejen de adoptar y dejen de suscribirse también a tratados internacionales, a convenios internacionales que hoy no permiten que esa tierra sea fértil o sigue vulnerando el derecho de los agricultores a el manejo de sus semillas, bueno, siguen vulnerando también ese derecho a conservar sus conocimientos, sus prácticas tradicionales, y eso también depende de que dejemos de suscribirnos a convenios internacionales como UPOV, ¿cierto? A convenios internacionales o el protocolo de Nagoya o el protocolo de bioseguridad, y que esto cuando se adapte pues finalmente funcione allí, ¿no? Entonces un poco hago como este enmarque porque yo siento que, bueno, siempre estamos desde la juventud hablando de la necesidad de acceder a los recursos, de acceder a la financiación, a la tierra, y creo que esto ya es bien claro, ¿no? Pero también necesitamos que se deje de promover esas políticas para poder acceder a los recursos, acceder a la tierra, pero tener una tierra en la cual trabajar y permanecer en ella, y que los jóvenes también podamos tener una garantía ante la criminalización que hoy están teniendo los pequeños agricultores. No solo por sus semillas, sino también por las diversas condiciones a nivel local y nacional que también vivimos en nuestros países. Eso por un lado. Por otro lado, pues un poco como enmarcado en lo que nosotros hoy queremos, el objetivo que tiene esta caja, este enfoque pues es más con respecto a cómo fortalecemos, cómo visibilizamos y también reconocemos esa importante labor que han tenido las comunidades en la transferencia de sus conocimientos y que este intercambio de conocimientos pues se han creado diferentes metodologías a nivel organizativo, que va desde la conformación también de escuelas de pensamiento propio, de escuelas de campesinos, con metodologías de campesino a campesino, con escuelas de semillas, escuelas políticas en agroecología, en agricultura familiar, y que este espacio pues también pretende poder visibilizar todas estas metodologías y todos estos caminos que las organizaciones sociales y las comunidades hemos trazado para poder permanecer con nuestros conocimientos, nuestras tradiciones en el campo, que esto es una parte fundamental para la permanencia de la agricultura familiar, para el fortalecimiento de la agricultura familiar. Entonces, desde la caja de herramientas hemos pensado en cómo también poder utilizar diferentes estrategias, diferentes herramientas comunicativas que permitan que otros países pues también puedan conocer las diferentes experiencias que se vienen dando en otros lugares, que puedan realmente saber que sí se puede promover la agricultura familiar, que sí se puede promover la agricultura familiar con una transición hacia la agroecología, y que esto ha tenido pues como grandes impactos y grandes relevancias en otros países, que se ha logrado avanzar también en el fortalecimiento de la producción nacional, de la autonomía y la soberanía alimentaria a nivel de otros países. Bueno, y un poco también este enfoque pues quiere explorar algunos retos y oportunidades que tiene la agricultura familiar en los contextos como más específicos de cada territorio. Por eso se van a usar algunos podcasts, se van a hacer algunos relatos, historias de lo que se viene abordando en diferentes países. Que esto también nos lleva un poco a sobrepasar algunas de las barreras que hoy tiene la agricultura familiar, en poder empezar entonces cómo esto puede llegar no solamente a los países, sino que pueden llegar a otros agricultores. Entonces nos hace pensar también en cómo acceder a los recursos tecnológicos, cómo acceder a la comunicación, cómo acceder a otros medios para que realmente haya pues como un intercambio de lo que venimos haciendo los jóvenes a nivel de otros países, pero que por sobre todo también se pueda abordar como cuáles son esos retos que hoy tiene la juventud, porque ya hemos hablado mucho sobre los retos que tenemos. Entonces sí es importante que empecemos a avanzar en esos retos que hoy pues como que todos venimos conversando, y que hace mucho tiempo pues venimos haciendo análisis de las necesidades y las priorizaciones que también tienen los jóvenes en el campo. Bueno, y creo que esta caja de herramientas también tiene un enfoque muy importante, y es poder reconocer y visibilizar más esta metodología que hace mucho tiempo se viene construyendo, que es la metodología de campesino a campesino, que es lo que hace que también se pueda promover un intercambio basado en el intercambio de conocimientos de manera horizontal, flexible, dinámico, participativo, que es lo que ha hecho que finalmente las comunidades resistamos en nuestro territorio, que las semillas se sigan conservando, que la biodiversidad se siga conservando, porque viene ligado a las diferentes prácticas en el manejo del suelo, en el manejo del agua, a la aplicación de tecnologías ecológicamente apropiadas que hacen que podamos resolver y solventar algunas de las necesidades que tenemos en nuestro territorio, y que creo que también ayudará pues como a muchos agricultores jóvenes que vienen también encaminados en este proceso. Pero también quiero como seguir haciendo énfasis en que para lograr esto pues es importante dejar de promover esas otras políticas que no han contribuido a la permanencia de los jóvenes en el territorio y seguir promoviendo la agroecología y otras agriculturas para la vida en el territorio y para la permanencia de los jóvenes en él. Gracias.
Thank you very much to all of you to help us understand what is going to be in this toolkit. Now we are turning to you, and we would like to continue this conversation with you. And we invite you to think with us, how can this toolkit be used in your reality, in your countries, in your communities? How this toolkit would be useful, no? Which part you think is the most relevant? And in fact, how could you apply this in your own community? I also invite the members, other members of this working group, this Young Farmers Working Group, Tiffany, Rem, others, if you are here, please take the floor if you want and share with us more information about the toolkit. So, over to you. Also, if you have questions to any of the panelists, please go ahead. There is the first question.
Hello, thank you everyone for your presentations. My name is David Newcomb. I'm a Canadian and part of the World Farmers Organization. I'm a 10th generation farmer, and I'm very happy to say that we've always had good relationships talking about generational transfer. But talking to a lot of farmers, that's a very difficult thing. And as mentioned, you talk about the succession planning for farms, and it's, well, it will come to you when I'm dead. So do any of you have any advice on how the younger generation can start those conversations and kind of resolve some of that conflict when it talks about, you know, what is the plan for transferring the farm from one generation to the next? Thank you.
Is any other question? Reem, you would like to?
My name is Reem. I was part of doing toolkit. Okay. In my opinion, having a dedicated toolkit for young farmers is crucial in supporting their development and success. The resources can help bridge the gap between generations, ensuring a smooth transition in agricultural practices. Offering practical information, young family farmers can enhance their family techniques, adopt innovation methodologies, and make informed financial decisions. Access to technical skills can tolerate learning opportunity, empowering them tackle more challenges effectively. Support not only foster resilience, the support not only the farming practices, but also encourage sustainable growth, helping to secure future of agriculture. It serves as a catalyzed hub for practices, knowledge, resource, and community supports. A toolkit can provide access to essential information on best practices, innovation techniques, and financial planning tools, especially for young farmers. By creating a toolkit for learning and engagement, a toolkit can empower next generation of farmers, helping them to enhance their skills, ultimately leading more sustainable and successful practices. And for me, like having a young farmer toolkit that make people or the young farmer know that there is someone noticing them, there's someone supporting them, there's someone trying to help them to have more access to practical skills, or maybe there is more experienced farmer that can help them to make it easier for them, because we know there is no one looking for a young farmer, or it's very hard to hear their voices, you know? So yeah, that's it for me.
Oui, bonjour à tous. Je suis Afan Chakoudasé. Je suis le président du Collège régional des jeunes agriculteurs d'Europa, Afrique de l'Ouest. Je tiens à remercier tous les panélistes Et puis, par rapport à la mise en place de cette boîte à outils, c'est une très bonne chose. Dans le sens où toutes les contrées n'ont pas la même réalité et nous serons amenés à pouvoir faire beaucoup de propositions à travers cette boîte à outils pour la relève générationnelle sur les exploitations familiales. Mais pour ce qui concerne l'Afrique de l'Ouest, il y a un cas particulier que j'aimerais partager en 2 minutes avec vous. Cela concerne le Togo. En tout cas, d'ordre général, en Afrique de l'Ouest, la tête se transmet, comme dans d'autres parts aussi, de génération en génération. Mais étant donné que les générations présentes et futures vont être plus nombreuses que ce qui est des générations passées, la terre devient de plus en plus rare. Et donc, les jeunes qui arrivent à avoir accès à la terre sont ceux-là qui sont capables de pouvoir faire de bonnes propositions en matière de ce que tu veux réellement faire, en matière de petites technologies pour redonner vie à la terre, etc. Il faut que les parents puissent savoir, à travers tes propositions, tes savoir-faire, que tu es capable de pouvoir devenir un bon producteur si on te laisse la terre, parce que la terre, c'est un héritage et que les parents ne blaguent pas avec ça. Mais si on ne fait pas grand-chose et puis on veut avoir accès à la terre pour que si le parent décède demain, que tu puisses vendre et avoir de l'argent, ça là, ça ne passe pas. Ça ne passe pas. Donc au niveau du Togo spécifiquement, à travers notre plateforme nationale des producteurs, nous avons pu faire des propositions qui sont quand même reprises dans le code foncier et domanial actuellement. Et puis, à part cela, on a pu mettre en place des zones d'aménagement agricole planifiées où les jeunes et les femmes ont accès à pratiquement 60% sur ces zones d'aménagement agricole planifiées. Ces zones sont en train d'être dotées des plans d'eau, des aménagements pour pouvoir faciliter l'accès à la terre aux jeunes. Et tout cela parce que, au niveau de notre plateforme nationale des producteurs, nous arrivons à faire des propositions. Nous arrivons à tenir la parole et puis dire ce que les jeunes pensent et là où on veut aller. Sinon, sans proposition, sans pouvoir donner un canevas clair de ce que les jeunes veulent au niveau de leur famille, en termes de renouvellement générationnel et au niveau de l'État, pour que cela soit repris dans les politiques et programmes de l'État, rien ne va se passer. Mais nous, on est en train de vraiment travailler sur ces aspects et nous pensons qu'à travers cet outil-là, nous allons faire encore d'autres propositions et pouvoir perfectionner ce que nous sommes en train de faire et faire encore d'autres propositions que les autres dans d'autres contrées de la Terre peuvent utiliser également. Merci. Ah, oui, si vous permettez, j'ai encore d'autres contraintes au niveau de FIDA. Bientôt, je vais vous quitter avec beaucoup de peine, mais bientôt, on se verra encore. Merci.
First, yes, thank you. I'm very much looking forward to this toolkit. I think young people today have many, many challenges in your future of farming. I am a farmer in the United States. I am at an age where I'm looking forward to a young person taking over the labor on my farm. But my question is, what kind of policies do you see in your specific countries and your context of ensuring a dignified livelihood? I think that's one of the biggest obstacles for the young people that I know. They're not fully confident they'll be able to make a living when they do have access to land or finance or any of these other kinds of resources. Thank you.
We get one more, then we see if you want to get back, no? Colleagues on the podium, and then we open again.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tiffany Marcel, and I am also a young farmer. And I think the importance of the toolkit is that it helps us to help ourselves, right? It helps us to understand how we can get access to land. It helps us to understand certain policies. It helps us to understand how we can drive different policies. So it's a toolkit that's going to help us help ourselves. But as I sit here and I look across the room and I see many empty chairs, after 3 days of having well-attended events, what I want to know is how we can help young farmers, as young farmers, help each other, because sometimes we don't get the support that we need.
Buenos días a todos. Soy Viviana de Ecuador. Bueno, decir que el campesinado en América Latina tiene problemas estructurales, como mencionaban varias compañeras en las intervenciones, que tienen que ver con la salud, con la educación y con el trabajo digno, y que además de las limitaciones al acceso a la tierra, hay muchas limitaciones con acceso a la tecnología. Entonces también para pensar una caja de herramientas también tenemos que pensar en que no todos los campesinos tienen acceso a Internet, y hay un dato de 4 de cada 6 jóvenes viven en pobreza. Entonces, también el tema de la alfabetización es un gran reto que tenemos dentro de la juventud. Y decir que hay otros actores en el campo que son muy graves, principalmente en el Ecuador, y es el narcotráfico y las bandas. Entonces, cada vez hay reclutamiento forzado de los campesinos que viven en los territorios rurales hacia estas bandas, y que no solamente son expulsados por el agronegocio, sino son expulsados del campo por estas bandas y estos grupos armados, que es una nueva realidad que hay en muchos de los territorios campesinos. Y otro factor es la migración también, que por distintos factores que hay dentro de los países, guerras internas, pero además las políticas neoliberales tienen que migrar. También decir que es importante pensar en esta caja de herramientas, pero también creo que hay que tener cuidado con el extractivismo de nuestros conocimientos, porque así como hay extractivismo de nuestros bienes comunes, también podemos caer en el extractivismo de nuestras prácticas y conocimientos ancestrales. Entonces, que además de esta caja de herramientas, creo que debemos luchar por políticas públicas que nos ayuden a romper con estas brechas, que sin embargo felicito también esta iniciativa.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Zainal Arifin. I'm not youth, but still youth in soul. I am from Indonesian Union, and we train youth farmer, youth member of and on the again reform on seed breeders, and also the market. So my comment on the toolkit, I have two aspects. One is we need not only generation to continue agriculture, but also to continue farmer organization. So that means in this point, we need collectively work. So because in my experience, observation, so the program of youth tend to individual or young entrepreneur, not in under a collective action or in organization. So that's why we need to link pillar 2 to pillar 4 with pillar 4 on how strengthen family farming organization. So this point. And second point is that we have, of course, we have to update with the contact, yeah, national, international, especially in our profession, we have the land grabbing, ocean grabbing. So because of which, not only young peasants, but also young small-scale fisheries out of this territory. How this toolkit can endorse both young and young peasant and young small-scale fisheries still in the area. So that's why in L'Afrique Messina, we have slogan, globalized struggle, globalized hope. It is important that we are in the agriculture if there is a good hope. Otherwise, the young will be go to the city, to Middle East. So it is our responsibility to have to create hope, globalized struggle, globalized hope. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Praful Kumareka. I am from India, from Bihar. So I want to give thanks to all the dynamic farmers panelists for the good presentation. So I also like to go through these toolkits because it's much needed. In our India, we formed 7 youth groups, and they are practicing farming. But challenges are that sometimes we are not getting proper cooperation with them due to lack of communication and lack of capacity building. So capacity building is must needed to access the farming for the young farmers. And also challenges are sometimes not practicing agroecology due to get too much production. They are using sometimes hybrid seeds and chemicals like that. So we need more and more awareness about agroecology also. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think we have heard very useful inputs, no? Topics and issues that the public has raised to be also treated in the Young Farmers Toolkit. For example, issues how to have conversations between generations, how to promote access to land with avoiding land fragmentation, how the toolkit can help. We want to see in the toolkit examples that can ensure dignified life, as it ensures the hope in agriculture, as Zainar said. And for example, also we could see examples in the toolkit about access to technology. So various topics that are essential for young farmers and generational turnover. Indeed, important, but let's see how we will manage to include there. Let me call your attention now on a Google form, the Young Farmers Working Group, and of course, Carlota, with Carlota's help, developed a Google form. And you can find them under these QR codes, which we would like that you fill out and you provide your inputs and ideas for the further development of this toolkit. So this conversation is not over. This Google form is going to be open for a while now, 1 week, 2 weeks, depends. We would like to invite you to participate in the design of this toolkit. Give your feedback, give your ideas, so we can sharpen it. Colleagues, back to you, to each of you for 1 minute, because the interpretation will sharply close at 10. So, over to you.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Bueno, yo solamente quiero como resaltar que hoy los problemas de la agricultura familiar, que es todo lo que hemos venido hablando un poco todos estos días, pues también son los problemas de los jóvenes, ¿no? Y se necesita hoy avanzar hacia esos problemas para poder un poco responder algunas de las cuestiones que ustedes hacían, como cómo acceder entonces a políticas favorables para jóvenes, es un poco cómo acceder también entonces a políticas que fortalezcan hoy la agricultura familiar, campesina, étnica, comunitaria. Y que para todo eso pues también se necesita como resaltar y contar con un apoyo técnico, con unas políticas de protección también de los jóvenes del campo, con unas políticas de vinculación también de las personas que trabajan en el campo. En esa caja de herramientas también pensamos en unas directrices para la capacitación e intercambio intrageneracional que permite que también los países puedan tener algunas pautas y algunas cosas de cómo generar participación de los jóvenes en la formulación de políticas públicas para la agricultura familiar. Y bueno, yo solamente quiero resaltar que en un caso en un ejemplo más bien, nosotros en mi tierra, cuando somos guardianes o guardianas de semillas, es una función, un trabajo heredado. A nosotros se nos hereda ser guardianes o guardianas de semillas, y esta herencia se da a partir de un acompañamiento que por lo general hacen las madres o en otros casos los padres, para poder transferir el conocimiento de la selección de semillas, del mejoramiento de semillas, de las prácticas asociadas a esas semillas, y eso es precisamente también lo que necesita hoy la agricultura familiar. Poder seguir ahondando en el acompañamiento, no solamente por parte de las familias, sino también por parte del Estado. O sea, los jóvenes, muy bien lo decía Lucía, no queremos que se nos dé la tierra y nos echen a la tierra y no tengamos un acompañamiento, porque las mismas dificultades que hoy tienen las personas mayores las tenemos los jóvenes. Hoy las personas mayores tampoco cuentan con financiación, tampoco cuentan con un acompañamiento técnico, y por eso para mí es sumamente importante que la agricultura familiar avance para que los jóvenes también podamos avanzar dentro de ella. Sí, solamente eso, sí, solamente eso.
Okay, I'm not sure if I got the input, but together with saying the objectives of the toolkit, it's also important to whom it is addressed. Not only, we saw it not only as a flexible tool addressed not only to young family farmers and their organizations, which include the non-youth part of their organization, but also national governments. No, so in this round of inputs, but also through the feedback form, we hope to have suggestions from you on how this tool can be flexible enough to reach out to both of these two audiences. That's one thing that I wanted to mention, and to also remind that the toolkit is developed in the context and the objectives of the UN Decade of Family Farming, no, which is to use these 10 years now, 5, to enable these policies to support our farmers, our family farmers. So we should always think this toolkit as a means and not as a goal in itself. That's two important thing that I think it's also important for you to evaluate the outline of the toolkit. When it comes to because there was also a question on our specific context, like for example in Europe, with the youth articulation of La Via Campesina, we are the two main demands that we are working on is the struggle for fair incomes. No, so when it comes to a dignified life, the main problem of my peers in the sector of farming is that you cannot live out of what you sell. So we are working, we are like negotiating with institutions at the European level and allies to have policies that ensure that at least we are paid to cover production costs. Now that's the baseline, and to change the common agricultural policy in Europe in a way that public money is not given based on how many hectares you have. So the bigger you grow, the more money you have, because this is completely killing family farming. So I want to know a way to use the toolkit to fight for these two objectives. I stop here.
Bien, decir como dos cosas cortitas nomás, porque nos queda mucho tiempo, pero en esto que se planteaba ahora del relevo, el recambio generacional o cómo hacerlo, y que también por ahí lo planteaba un compañero, creo que es importante pensarlos en términos como intrafamiliares o intraprediales o dentro de la propia finca o granja, pero también pensarlos en términos organizacionales, como planteaban por ahí. Es como muy importante para las organizaciones de la agricultura familiar trabajar ese relevo. Entonces, desde ahí creo que la caja de herramientas puede aportar. Y por último, pensar en la implementación, en esto como de lo regional. Bueno, ¿cómo implementamos esta caja? Es importante tener acompañamiento y que esta caja tenga los recursos para la implementación a nivel regional en actividades con las gremiales, con las organizaciones regionales que lleguen a los jóvenes y por otro lado con los gobiernos. Entonces es como muy necesario de acá en más, aparte de pensar el contenido, seguir pensando en la implementación y los recursos que necesitan, porque no todos los jóvenes podemos venir a Roma a que nos llegue la información, en esta cuestión de que Roma llegue a nuestras casas. Entonces es importante la implementación, recursos para la implementación.
Yeah, I think in a few minutes I have there was a question about how you start the conversation. I would say there is no size fit all. I mean, there is no structured way how you do it. And I think the tool will just help us to get, I mean, it's a means, a framework where every country could contextualize onto what is happening in those specific countries. And still goes back to the person who said about the policies. Policies would want in Uganda might not be in Africa, might not be the same that people in Europe would require. For example, in Africa, would look at marital laws themselves. We look at the financial policies themselves. We look at the succession policies themselves. So a kind of a mapping would be required. But I think as all the panelists says, we need to get from somewhere. And the toolkit is a start of a framework, a global framework that will help us to cascade the interventions to the local region. So it's not a size fit all. We have to customize it, but at least we must start from somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you very much again to all of you. A big applause again to the panelists. And let me invite now Guilherme Bradi. I don't think I have to introduce Guilherme. He is the head of unit of Family Farming and Parliamentarian Networks unit.
Hello. Okay, great to be with you again. Good to see you all. No, I think we have 2 minutes. So just would like to highlight some aspects maybe for the audience that is watching or other actors that are not following the process. This is part of a collective work, and it's not easy to put 4 global organizations, networks together, working together, and quite well. So this is a big point. They are working for many years together and developing the contents that they want. I think this is the second point. And we have years of work. So just to connect with the WFF topics, this is new. It's very innovative. New contents developed by them about what they want. Help us, the toolkit help us to help ourselves. Great point. It's worth the investment because whoever invests on this will bring years of work already done. No? And the mechanisms, the process of the decade that are ready to support the implementation to move ahead. And it's about the youth. They are saying what they want. So I think for the follow-up, how to bring resources, we need to have we organize, how we show what we need, no? Put the numbers, we can have a work session on this to develop. And we have to work together, your organizations with us, for this to follow up, because the organizations need to bring. Your organizations are powerful. They have context. They have access also of discussion. So let's bring this topic into the priority of the agenda. As some of you said, the discussion of youth is not for the young people, no? It's relevant to all of us. So let's bring this topic also on, and let's work together with your organizations on how we can mobilize the resources for the follow-up. Thanks a lot.
Thank you again for everyone. And just to close this Young Farmers Roundtable, I hope to see you next year again for the next Young Farmers Roundtable. Thank you again. See you soon.